Hi, he's Dave.
And she's Kath.
And today we're going to show you how to build a professional website using Microsoft's free new tool, Webmatrix, and an open source content management system called Orchard.
Websites are a key way of us sharing information with people on the internet.
And we access sites every day. I mean, we read online, we do a whole lot of research.
We shop, and we also use it for entertainment.
But you know what? Web developers don't just talk about things, they also build things. So let's get on with it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be building a website using Webmatrix and Orchard, and we're going to be building a sample site for the elephant sanctuary. But before I get straight into code, I actually like to do a little bit of planning, and I've drawn a really nice plan over here. And I want to just run through the structure and a couple of the things that we'll need.
Yes, the site structure is very important. It tells you what you're going to be putting on there and how it's going to link together. Things like your homepage, your contact us, your blogs, and those kinds of items.
And once you've got the site pages done, you also now need to consider what am I going to be putting into my site pages. I'm probably going to be needing some copy, I'm going to need images, I might want to include an interactive form, create one, or have a downloadable one, and I also might want to include social feeds and things like that. So all of these things together, and also the more planning we do up front, the easier it is to actually build and publish our site faster than usual. So now that we've already got all of that planned, why don't we actually start coding straight away? So we're going to start off by launching the program, and here we've got Webmatrix opening. The options that it gives me is that I can either open an existing site, I can get a site from the web gallery where I've got access to a whole lot of open source content management systems, e-commerce systems, and a whole lot of things. I can open from the templates because it comes with pre-built templates, or I can open from a folder that's sitting on my machine. Today, because we're using Orchard, Orchard is one of the new open source CMS's, content management systems, so I'm going to go and fetch it from there. You can see the popular ones like Umbraco and WordPress coming through, but I want to go and install Orchard. We will call our site Elephant Sanctuary and click the next button. I will need to call it a different name because I have now got more than one, so let's call this number 3. Okay, I accept the agreement, and it's now going to install Orchard on my machine. So Orchard is successfully installed. And now that I've got it, it opens it within Webmatrix on my machine. So Webmatrix gives me a whole lot of options. I can browse my files, manage my database, I can run a report, but I don't have a site yet, so I'm not really going to be doing that. So let's start off with running the site and having a look at what we've actually got. So Orchard gives me this great admin system within the browser, and this is where I can start configuring it without having to use code. So what is the name of my site? I'm going to call it Elephant Sanctuary. My username will be admin, my password will be very secure, and we'll call it password so that I can remember what it is. How would I like to store my data? So I'm going to use SQL Server Compact Edition. It means that I don't actually have to go and publish to a server with an actual database. It's going to make its own. And choose an Orchard recipe. I can have default. I can choose blog or core. I'm going to stick with default. And then I get to finish my setup. When I finish my setup, you'll see that it's actually now cooking my Orchard recipe. So much like cooking shows and technology, we're all integrated. And voila, there I have my basic site. So it doesn't necessarily look anything like we want at the moment, but it's got a home page, it's got some great content. I can manage my settings, configure it, I can install new themes. It allows me to add a page. So let's click through and go and add a page. So to add a page is really easy. We had a home page. I know that I want to add an About Us page. So let's add that coming in. It's going to add a link for me. I'll put some copy here later on. And let's scroll down. I'm not going to add any tags, but I do want this to show in the main menu. So let's add that About Us. And I have the option of either saving it, publishing it later, but I want to publish it now. I'm not going to add a widget just yet. That is something we're going to do later on. So let's go back quickly and have a look at the site. And you can see that now I've got the home as well as the About Us page. But I want to add a few more pages. In fact, I want to add a blog and everything as well. So let's go through and add a page. I'm going to click on the blog link to the left, and this is going to be called our blog. The description is we should maybe spell correctly, the Elephant Sanctuary blog. We do want it to show on the main menu, and we'll give it a title so that it can show in the navigation, and let's save that. Now the minute I've created the blog, it says to me that there are no posts, and it gives me the option of creating my first new post. So let's do that. My first post is going to be called Day 1, and let's put, here goes my first blog post. We'll probably modify this later. Add an exclamation mark because we're very excited about putting up our first blog post. The tags, it's just useful if we add a couple of tags. It allows it to be found later on if we add a search module. I do want to allow comments on my blog, and let's publish that now as well. So if we go back to our site, I've now got an About Us page, and with the blog, you can see the title of my blog, as well as I'm able to go through and view more and add comments on this. So there we've got the basis of how we start adding pages, and I can now go ahead and add my other pages like support, contact us, and all of those. So what we've created here is our site using Orchard. We've got our basic structure, the pages, about us, blog, and all of that, but it's looking a little bit empty.
What about all that content we prepared earlier?
A bit like a cooking show, isn't it? So yes, we've got images and we've got text and a form that we want to be able to add in. So let's show you how easy that actually is. Let's get started. Okay, so Dave's just told us that our site looks rather boring, so it's time for us to actually go and edit and add some content. And that is surprisingly easy to do as well. So let's start here with our first little leader aside. And basically we can see here zones and layer. I'll explain more about that later on, but let's for now just add in a bit of content. And this is going to be a Did You Know section. So let's add that in. I want my content as well, and I've created some content earlier, so let's open up my content document. And you can see that here I've got some information around Did You Know, Volunteer of the Month, and things like that. So let's just go back, and in here, instead of that content, I want to change this to Did you know that elephants can drink up to 80 liters of water in a go. And now we want to add an image in here. Now adding an image is quite easy. We're going to be clicking on the Insert Image or Media element. Because I've never added an image or anything before, I need to just create a folder. So let's create a folder that we can store all our images and things in. We'll call it the Media folder. Then I can go and insert an image. I'm going to browse from my computer, and I'm going to add this one, which I created a bit earlier. I click on the Upload button, and you can see that it brings in a specific width and height that I've already saved this image to. I say great, I insert that. So there I've got my image. It's already inserted. Let's save that. And there you can see that I've already got an image on the home page and it's appearing. So let's go and edit a bit more of this content to make sure that our whole home page and the rest of the site actually looks like that. So we're going to add our home page copy. You'll notice some of this is underlined and this looks a little bit Latin. It is in fact Latin. It's a classic old web trick. We call it lorem text. And what it means is it basically allows us to add copy when we're not sure what we're actually going to be saying about something just yet. So let's take all of that, and I'm now going to be pasting my copy on top of that. Let's save that, publish that now. In my second section, I would like to call that, we've got a little volunteer section, so call that Volunteer of the Month. Let's go and get some more content there. And here we've got Rachel is our star volunteer. Now, a funny thing you'll notice that I'm doing is that I'm taking this content and I'm taking it from Word and I'm pasting it into Notepad. Now, often what Word does, if we copy straight from Word, pastes all the formatting from Word into our document, and we don't want that. We want the style sheet of the content management system to actually be doing the formatting for us. Otherwise, we're going to get specific fonts from Word, and we're not going to be able to change that when we later want to be able to work with our theme. So there we've got a picture of Rachel. Let's insert that. Let's save that page. Okay, and now the third area, we want to add a little bit of contact details. So keep in touch. And what we're going to do here is we're going to insert some images. Maybe we've got a Facebook page or something like that. So let's quickly browse. Here I've got a Facebook, I've got a .png file. So let's upload that one. You'll notice this is significantly smaller, only 24 by 24. Let's say join our Facebook page. And let's insert, maybe we've got one for Twitter as well. Let's browse through. I've got my Twitter image. We add that, insert, and whoops, follow us on Twitter. Now, what I also want to do with these is I want to add a hyperlink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll over the text. And one of the other icons that I've got in this wonderful tool is a thing that says allows me to insert and edit a link, and I don't even need to know any code. So as I click on that, come up with a tiny little thing up here. Let's just zoom into that so that we can see what's going on there. Okay, and in that link URL, let's add my Facebook link. Now target, this is an interesting thing. I want to specifically create a new window, because if I create a new window, it means that I'm still going to keep my original site. So we insert that one. Okay, let's close that. So that created a hyperlink there. We can see that it's now underlined. And now we're able to do the same for the Twitter. Let's start. Let's add that link, and we'll have the Twitter URL, twitter.com, and we are at elephants. You can follow us at elephants. And again, the same, I want to launch a new window. So let's save that. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to go slightly larger. I've got the ability to change this text, so I select that text. At the moment it's in paragraph, which is small. So you can see I've got a whole lot of options here. I'm going to choose heading 2. So let's select that. Text goes larger, and let's do the same for the following one as well. Select that. So let's scroll down, save that page. And now we can see that our page has been updated. So now we're starting to get there, and I think what we're going to do now is let's quickly go and update the content on all the other pages as well.
So now we have the content done. The site's still not looking right.
In fact, no, this is one of the places where we start using the power of content management systems, which is theming. And theming allows us to change the look and feel of the site without having to do any code. And it's in fact quite simple to do. So let's have a look at how that's done. Okay, so Dave's right. This isn't quite the site that we had originally. Our font is wrong. We had a gorgeous gray nav. We've got the text and copy though. So now let's go and change the site and actually add the theme. So you'll notice down here, I've also got the option of returning to the dashboard down here. Let's click on that and go to the dashboard. Now we get to do one of the most amazing things. We get to change the theme. So the current theme at the moment is just a default one called the Theme Machine. There's a gallery where I can go and have a look at a whole lot of themes that have been made available. And there's constantly designers that are busy coming up with new ones. But we're going to be installing a theme from our computer. So installing a theme from our computer means that I've downloaded one before. So I'm just quickly going to browse for that. And here you can see that I had the Orchard theme Contoso. It's a NUPKG package. I'm going to be installing that. And that's going to give me the look and feel that I wanted. So it's actually quite amazing what themes do. Themes change the entire look and feel of a site without us actually having to do much code whatsoever. If you wanted to, you actually have the option of going in and editing a theme, customizing it, even adding your own colors, your own fonts. But luckily we don't have to with this one. It's going to do exactly what we want it to do. And here we can see that it successfully added our theme. If we scroll down on our page, the theme is down here. I've got the option of doing a preview, but I actually want to just set it as the current. I've looked at it before and I know that this is how I want my site to look. Themes also rely on the fact that your site has a certain structure and that it uses the same conventions. So when we work with CMSs, we try and keep within those conventions so that when we add new themes, that they're still valid and applicable and they don't break across our sites. Okay, so it's been installed, it's the current theme. Let's go and have a look at our site. And here you can see that the site looks completely different. My links are now green. These green blocks around my edit things, they're only here because I'm still in admin mode, but I've got my elephant sanctuary heading up at the top, and I've got my navigation with my green rollover, which I had in my final site. So we're slowly but surely getting there. However, one of the last things is that we said that we had that gorgeous header of the elephant head at the top, and that we did by adding a widget. Now the interesting thing about widgets is think about them as a bit of HTML and logic, some code that can be placed in on a page. And widgets need to be assigned to a layer, and then we need to choose a zone. So the layers here on the side, if I apply it to the default layer, it means that it's going to go and appear on every single page on the site, and this is actually exactly what I wanted to do. I also want it to appear in the header section, and the header section appears above the navigation and anything else. And I'm going to add an HTML widget because in the same way that I added images to my site, I actually want to add an image to this to make it look pretty. I'm not going to add a title, but I am going to add an image. So let's browse. And here you can see I created header.jpg. I'm going to add that, upload it, and let's insert. You can also see the width and height. It's a very wide but narrow picture, and it's a beautiful picture of the elephant eye. Let's save that. That's been successfully added, and if we go back to our site, we can now see that our site looks exactly the way that we had originally. Let's sign out of this so that I get the benefit of my site without all the admin editing blocks. And here you can see that we have a really gorgeous site with all the pages and all the content that we had and specified in the beginning. The only thing that's left to us now is to actually go and publish this site. So if we go back to Webmatrix, we've now got this great option where we can actually publish straight from here. If we input our settings, we can either use web deploy or FTP. Remember that you need to find a hoster for your service, for your website. You need to probably pay them. You need to create a domain name. And this is how easy it is. And if you hit the publish button with all of those settings, it'll actually publish up live to your site so that you can go and view your site live. And that is really how difficult and easy it is to create an Orchard website.
So let's recap what we did for the Elephant Sanctuary site.
So, using Webmatrix, we were able to install an instance of Orchard, configure it, set up our basic structure, and get the site going that way.
Yes, we also inserted all the content that we needed to.
So when we did the images, afterwards came the theming, and remember the theming changed the look and feel of the site, and then using that wonderful widget technology, we were able to add the header throughout as well.
So let's go look at the resources that we used to do this.
So to build a professional looking site like that, we need three things. The first thing is we need our tools, and for that we can download Webmatrix for free at www.microsoft.com/web/Webmatrix.
Once you have Webmatrix installed, you can use the web gallery and download Orchard, or you can go to orchardproject.net.
And of course, last but not least, we might also want to do some image manipulation, and there's that great free app called paint.net, which you can download for free from getpaint.net.